Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, June 1st. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Sonia Srivastawa. Glad to have you with us this evening. Police need your help. Take a close look at this video. A rider is speeding down on Pennsylvania Avenue and Parkland Drive in District Heights on an ATV, and at one point pops a wheelie, stands on the seat, and drives without his hands, all while yelling at a police officer. Now, authorities say the video was posted on a Facebook account by someone, and it does not say where and when.
This illegal ATV riding on the roads is a frustration, I know, to the vast majority of people in our area. We're seeing an increased amount of it, and we're asking for the community to come forward.
Now, anyone with information can call 1-866-411-TIPS.
And before you let your teen take the car keys this summer, AAA Mid-Atlantic suggests talking to them about the dangers of distracted driving. Officials say 60% of crashes involving teens behind the wheel happen because they are not paying attention to the road.
Distraction that we have with teen drivers is from a passenger in the car. And then the second most common distraction that teens have would be from an electronic device, such as a cell phone. It comes from looking down at the device or talking on a device, but mostly from texting as opposed to talking on a cell phone. The other distraction that we see with teenagers would be also inside the car, fiddling with some object or trying to change the radio dial or trying to adjust something on a cell phone or looking for something in the car. So we have to underscore to teenagers how dangerous distractions are.
Well, the Auto Club says the Baltimore and Washington metro areas combined account for nearly 84% of distracted driving crashes in the greater Washington region.
Baltimore Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport is setting records for passenger travel. Now, according to airport officials, more than 2 million people flew in and out of BWI in March. That's nearly 9% increase over last year. The airport also saw a 22% rise in international travel during that time. March marks the 9th consecutive record-setting month for passenger traffic at BWI.
And the state's attorney's office is weighing in on the school safety report released yesterday by a task force looking into the way the district handled the Deontay Caraway case. Angela Alsobrooks says she agrees with the findings of that report. The task force came up with 5 recommendations for the school system, including clear instructions for teachers and students on how to recognize and report sexual abuse.
Some of the recommendations that seemed especially important to us was this whole concept of stranger danger, really turning that on its head and teaching our children how to report sexual abuse becomes extremely important. The sad reality is that in today's society, much of what we see is not so much strangers who present the danger, but it's individuals who are known to children, who are trusted by children. And so the recommendation that really says children ought to be taught how to report that abuse and also how to recognize in older children and other adolescents dangerous behavior, we think is really groundbreaking in so many ways.
Caraway is the former teacher's aide charged with videotaping at least 17 children performing sex acts. Also, Brooks expects the grand jury to announce an indictment soon.
A disabled man is fatally shot in the middle of a street in Hyattsville, and police are asking for the public's help in tracking down the suspect. Now, according to investigators, the shooting happened this afternoon in the 6900 block of Greenville Parkway. Now, the victim lived in the neighborhood in a group home for persons with disabilities. Officials say his caretakers were taking him to a nearby basketball court when he got into a verbal altercation with the suspect, which sparked the shooting.
The reason I'm coming to you now, early in this investigation, is because there was another individual with the shooter. That individual was heard to make comments that lead us to believe they were shocked by what happened. We also believe that individual came down the hill to try to render aid to this individual who was shot. And then hearing approaching sirens from police and fire services, they fled. I'm reaching out to that person directly. I'm asking you, and if this person has reached out to you and told you this story, reach out to us. You're not directly accountable for this, but you know what happened. And this person who would do this, that's a dangerous person.
Anyone with information on this incident is asked to call police.
And changes are coming to how prisoners are transported in the city of Baltimore. The city rolling out a fleet of 10 new transport vans and retrofitting 13 others with redesigned interiors and multiple cameras. The new vehicles will have 4 cameras each. Now, the changes come more than a year after the death of Freddie Gray, who suffered a deadly spinal cord injury in the back of a transport van. The police department hopes the fleet will be up and running by the end of this summer.